Have you ever wondered if there are secrets you should carry to the very end, no matter how close your family might be? It's a simple question, but one that many of us begin to ask ourselves as we move past 80 and start to look back on a lifetime of memories, mistakes, and deeply personal moments. If you're watching this, you're probably someone who values honesty and openness, but you also know there are certain things that, once spoken, can never be taken back. In this video, we're diving into the 4 kinds of secrets that, in my experience, and through countless conversations with friends in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, are often better left unsaid. Whether it's an old regret, a personal disappointment, or a past mistake, these are the things that can quietly shape your life but might not help anyone else by being brought into the open. Stay with me until the end, because you might discover that keeping certain things to yourself isn't about being dishonest. It's about protecting peace, dignity, and even love. In the final chapters of our lives, I'll share practical wisdom, real stories, and psychological insight, so you'll understand not just what to keep private, but why it matters for your happiness and the harmony of your family. If you've ever lost sleep over something you wish you could say, this is for you. Now let's get started. Number 1, regrets from your early years. One of the most persistent burdens we carry as we age is the weight of regrets from decades ago. These may be decisions made in our 20s, 30s, or 40s, moments when life felt fast and unpredictable, or when we acted without fully understanding the consequences. For some, these regrets involve a job not taken, a friendship that faded, or even a mistake that led to years of silent reflection. As an 85-year-old who has spoken with countless peers, I can tell you that nearly everyone has at least one of these shadows lingering somewhere in their heart. What's important to remember is that these regrets are deeply personal. They shaped who you are today. But sharing them late in life, especially with family, doesn't always lead to the relief or understanding you might hope for. Your children or grandchildren, who see you as a source of wisdom and strength, might instead become confused, saddened, or even burdened by revelations they cannot change or fully comprehend. The desire to unburden yourself is natural, but sometimes the relief is only temporary, while the ripple effects last much longer. For example, I knew a gentleman named Frank who, at age 82, confided in me about a lost love from his youth. It was a secret he had kept from his wife and children for over 50 years. In a moment of longing for closure, he shared the story with his daughter, believing it would bring them closer. Instead, it left her unsettled, wondering about her father's true happiness and even questioning the foundation of her parents' marriage. Frank realized afterward that his daughter carried that knowledge like a pebble in her shoe, never large enough to stop her life, but always there, quietly uncomfortable. The truth is, regrets are part of being human. They're the lessons etched into our private journals, not always meant for the family album. Psychological studies have shown that sharing deep personal regrets can sometimes help us process guilt or sadness. But when those stories are dropped on loved ones who cannot act or help, it can create a sense of helplessness or confusion. After 80, our families look to us for reassurance and comfort, not for a list of our life's missed turns. That's not to say you should never open up or share your feelings. Sometimes a general story about lessons learned or growth achieved can be helpful for the next generation. But the raw, unfiltered regrets, especially those that involve choices made before your loved ones were even born, often serve no purpose other than to stir the dust of old wounds. Instead, honor your own journey by recognizing that every regret was a stepping stone, even if it didn't feel like one at the time. If you find yourself wanting to confess a long ago regret, pause and ask, will this help or heal my family? Or am I simply looking for a way to let go of my own sorrow? Sometimes keeping that page closed is the kinder choice. Number 2, private financial struggles. Throughout our lives, money shapes so much of what we do, from the homes we live in to the opportunities we can offer our children. Yet after 80, it's the silent financial struggles, the ones we carried alone in younger years, that sometimes come to mind most. These can be personal debts, business ventures that failed, or periods when we were just scraping by and hiding it from those around us. Even now, some folks in their 80s and beyond quietly replay those difficult chapters, wondering if they should reveal the full truth to their families. But here's what a lifetime has taught me. Telling your children or grandchildren about every hardship or failed investment you experienced decades ago does not always bring understanding or closer bonds. More often, it simply passes the burden to another generation, one that cannot fix the past or carry your load. Many seniors, especially those raised in times when financial matters were handled with quiet determination, have a habit of absorbing the pain so that their families could grow up without worry. Take, for instance, a woman named Eleanor, who at age 83 confided to a friend that she once lost almost everything in a risky investment right after her husband passed away. For years, she quietly rebuilt, never letting her children know how close they came to losing their home. Later in life, she considered sharing the full story, thinking it might explain why she sometimes seemed anxious about spending or saving. But her friend wisely reminded her that while honesty is admirable, some truths only add worry where none is needed. When Eleanor finally mentioned her struggle in passing, focusing only on the lessons she learned about resilience, her family felt admiration rather than concern. Psychologists tell us that older adults often want to confess old financial wounds in hopes of closure or validation. However, what most families truly need is not every detail of past hardship, but assurance and calm as they navigate their own financial path. Your strength in carrying these burdens is already a testament to your character. There's no need to revisit every loss or mistake unless it's truly for the benefit of others. Of course, transparency is important when it comes to current finances that might affect your loved ones, like wills or estate plans. But the distant struggles from decades ago, those are often best left in the past. They're lessons already woven into your family story by the simple fact that you persevered. Let your legacy be one of quiet courage and steady support, not worry over trials long since overcome. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, old family grievances. One of the hardest things about living a long life is watching family dynamics shift, bend, and sometimes break over the years. As the eldest in the family, you may carry memories of old disagreements, moments when a brother, sister, child, or even a spouse hurt you or let you down in ways that have lingered for decades. These grievances, left unspoken, often resurface in our minds as we grow older, especially during quiet afternoons or family gatherings when we see the next generation moving on, unaware of what happened long ago. The temptation to finally speak your truth, to air out an old hurt for the sake of closure, can be strong. But in my experience, there is wisdom in letting some grievances stay buried. The reasons are not always about self-sacrifice, but about protecting the fragile harmony that keeps a family together, especially when you've made it to your 80s and beyond. Let me share the story of Harold, an 84-year-old I once knew. For years, he kept silent about an argument he'd had with his younger brother back in the 1960s. It was a misunderstanding about their father's inheritance, one that led to years of awkward family dinners and missed opportunities for closeness. As the years went by, Harold's brother passed away, and the story lived on only in Harold's mind. In his later years, Harold sometimes thought about telling his own children the whole story, hoping they would better understand why the brothers had grown apart. But after talking with his pastor and reflecting on the possibility of reopening old wounds, Harold decided against it. He realized that sharing that hurt would only darken his children's memories of their uncle and would do nothing to change the past. Instead, Harold focused on being present for his family, modeling forgiveness by quietly letting go. Research shows that forgiveness, whether spoken or silent, can be a powerful source of healing, not just for ourselves, but for those around us. When you choose not to resurrect old family feuds, you're making a decision to prioritize peace and unity over revisiting pain. Your children and grandchildren will remember the way you brought the family together, not the old grievances you chose to keep private. Sometimes the best way to heal is not to share every detail, but to let love and understanding fill the spaces where old hurts once lived. If you find yourself longing to talk about something painful from decades past, pause and consider. Will this story help my loved ones? Or will it only change the way they see each other? By choosing silence in these matters, you are giving your family the gift of a simpler, more loving story, one that makes room for connection rather than conflict. Number 4, personal health fears from the past. It's no secret that as we reach our 80s, conversations about health become more and more common. Doctor visits, medications, old aches that won't quite go away. But there are certain personal health scares from the past that many of us carry silently for decades. Maybe it was a frightening diagnosis you kept hidden, a medical test you never followed up on, or a time when you ignored your health because you were afraid of what you might find out. These are the private worries that shaped your life in small ways, but you managed to move past them or handle them alone. Many seniors find themselves wondering whether to finally confess these long-held fears or medical secrets to their family. The thought often comes from a place of wanting to be fully known, or sometimes hoping to prepare loved ones for what might come. Yet sharing every health scare you endured 50 or 60 years ago is not always as helpful as you might imagine. Most of the time, these stories only cause anxiety, confusion, or guilt in the people who care about you most. They may worry that they missed signs or didn't support you enough, even though they were never meant to know. Consider a woman named Carol who once told me about a lump she found in her breast at age 61. She was terrified, kept it to herself, and after several anxious weeks found that it was harmless. She never shared the scare with her husband or children, choosing instead to let the fear pass in silence. Now in her mid-80s, Carol sometimes wonders if she should tell her family about that time, as if revealing it would somehow strengthen their bond. But the truth is, there was no lasting consequence, no lesson that needed to be passed on, and nothing her family could have done differently. What mattered most was that she faced her fear, sought help, and moved forward without adding unnecessary worry to those she loved. Medical experts often say that while openness can foster trust, there is also a place for discretion. Not every past struggle with your health needs to become part of your family story. If it does not impact them now, and if there is nothing to be gained by sharing, it is sometimes best to let those private battles remain private. What your family needs most is your presence, your encouragement, and your example of resilience, not a list of old scares that can never be changed. When you look back on your life, you may realize that your strength came not from telling everyone about every bump in the road, but from carrying on and setting an example of hope. Your silence in these matters is not a sign of weakness or mistrust, but of deep love, a decision to protect your family from unnecessary worry. The greatest comfort you can give those you love is your steadiness, your gratitude for the days you have, and the peace that comes from letting the past rest. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Final thoughts. As we come to the end of this conversation, I hope you found some comfort and clarity about what it truly means to protect your family and yourself as you age. The truth is, not every secret is a burden that needs to be lifted. Sometimes holding certain things close is a final act of kindness, a way of safeguarding the hearts of those you love from worries and wounds they can do nothing about. What stood out to you the most? Which of these 4 private matters do you see in yourself, or maybe in someone you care about? Take a moment to reflect on your own journey, the lessons you've learned, the strength you've shown, and the unique story only you can tell. Remember, your wisdom has already shaped your family in ways they might not realize simply by the way you lived, persevered, and quietly overcame the challenges life sent your way. There's no shame in keeping some memories or fears to yourself. In fact, it's often the mark of a truly wise and loving elder. If you feel moved to share, let it be the hope, forgiveness, and resilience you found along the way, not the old burdens that no longer serve anyone's happiness. Your legacy isn't written in confessions or secrets revealed, but in the steady love and support you give right up to your last days. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.